What it do? How you doing? I am back with another video. Today, EandE family, I'm showing you how to make Southern style cabbage and cornbread. So nowhere. So first, we're going to start with our cornbread. And this is basically my grandma's recipe. The only thing my grandma did not put in her cornbread was sugar. She did not like sweet cornbread. But I'm a little different. I like my cornbread sweet. So this is going to start with a cup of flour. Next, we're going to add a cup of cornmeal. Next, we're going to add a teaspoon of baking powder. We're going to add a teaspoon of salt. And I'm going to add about a half cup of sugar, maybe a little less. But like I said, if you don't like your cornbread sweet, you can omit the sugar. But I like mine a little sweet, so half cup of sugar. Okay, so that's all of our wet ingredients. So next we're going to, our dry ingredients. So next we're going to get some wet ingredients added. So I'm going to add 1 egg. If you like your cornbread more cake-like, you can add 2 eggs to make it more cake-like, but I'm good with just the 1 egg. And then I have buttermilk. Now let me tell y'all something. You can use regular milk for your cornbread, by all means. But baby, buttermilk gives it that good flavor that you want in your cornbread. My grandma didn't use nothing but buttermilk in her cornbread. So that's how I make mine. So I'm going to get some in there. How much? You can start with maybe a cup. See what you need from there. So mix that in. And of course, looking at this, I already know that I'm going to have to maybe add, maybe not, add a little bit more buttermilk to it. Because as with anything you're baking, whether it's a cake, cornbread, you don't want to overmix this because it will make for a tough cornbread. So you don't want your cornbread to be tough when you eat it. Okay, so we're getting that all mixed in. So next I have some melted butter. I melted 1.5 sticks of butter. And I pour that in my batter, just like that. Some people use vegetable oil in their cornbread. That's not what I do. Butter makes everything taste better, so I use butter in mine. So we're gonna get this butter mixed in with our mixture, but don't overmix it. Okay, so I got all the butter mixed into my cornbread, and we're just gonna pour it in our skillet. You can bake this in whatever, but I find that a cast iron skillet really, I love the way cornbread cooks in a cast iron skillet. And again, that's what my grandma used every time she made cornbread, was a cast iron skillet. So we're going to get all our mixture in there. And that's what your baked, unbaked rather, cornbread should look like. So I'm going to put this in a 350-degree oven until the toothpick in the center comes out clean. Next, we're going to get started on this cabbage. Don't go nowhere. So where I come from, how I was raised, Southern style cabbage consists of, it's actually fried cabbage with delicious sausage, different types of sausages in the cabbage. So today I'm using 2 different types of andouille, and I'm using a smoked kielbasa. So I'm going to put these on my rack. I've lined my rack, and I've lined my sheet pan. I put a rack on my sheet pan, and I put my sausages on the rack so that way any grease drips down onto my foil and not actually just, the sausages aren't sitting in their own grease. I cook them in an oven on 400 degrees, and when they come out, I'll dice them up and we'll add them to our cabbage. So let's get these out of the package and into the oven. So our cornbread is out of the oven and our sausage is in the oven cooking. So next we're going to get started on our cabbage. Now I've already cut up my head of cabbage, but I just wanted to show you how I actually cut it up. So I like to take, when it's the leaves like this, I like to take this part out. So I cut this part out like that. Just like that. And try not to take the rest of the leaf with it. And then I just roll it up like this. Just roll it up. And then cut it. Like that. Now, you won't be able to do the whole head of cabbage like that. Once you get past the really leafy parts that come off, then you'll just have to, like, you know, slice it up like that. But that's how I cut my cabbage. So next, I'm going to wash my cabbage. I don't cook it in here, but I'm going to wash my cabbage with apple cider vinegar and baking soda. So once we get finished washing our cabbage, making sure it's really clean, then we'll head over to our stove. So now we're ready to start adding our cabbage. So I just have some avocado oil here in the pan. And I'm going to do like this, y'all, to shield me, because this cabbage still has a little wetness to it. Y'all know how water and grease work. They don't mix. So I got to save myself. So I'm just going to get as much cabbage as I can, add it to the pot, to the pan. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit more since I have a good amount in there. And we're going to let this cook down before we do any seasoning of any kind. Plus, we have to get the rest of our cabbage in there. So, we're just going to let it cook down for a little bit. And then we can start adding our seasonings. So, this cabbage has cooked down enough for me that I can go ahead and start seasoning. So, we're going to start, of course, with some salt, black pepper, garlic powder, some onion powder, because we didn't add any onion to this. You can add some sliced or diced onion to it, but I'm just adding onion powder. And we're going to add a little bit of Tony's, baby, because, you know, Tony's makes everything taste delicious. Now, let's get that mixed up. Now, this is cabbage, y'all. It's a lot like green. You will probably have to go back and season more than once. But we're going to get this mixed up and give it a taste test. I don't like to go crazy on the seasonings. I like to keep it simple, yet delicious. Now, I know I just added the seasonings in here, but I'm going to give it a little taste just to see where I'm at on seasoning. I didn't do too bad on that. I'm going to give it a little bit more seasoning. Just a little. Not a lot. I'm going to go back in, add a little bit more seasoning before I add my meat in. Okay, so now we can add our sausage. Because it's cooked down enough for me. So we're just going to get our sausages added in. And this was our kielbasa in 2 different andouilles. Let's see if that's enough. Oh yeah, that looks good. That looks amazing. Look at that, y'all. Look how delicious that looks. And if you notice, I kept my lid off the entire time because I didn't want all of the juice from the cabbage to build up in the skillet. That defeats the purpose of the fried cabbage. Okay, so we got our meat added in. Our cornbread is done. Y'all been here before. You already know what's going to happen. When we come back, we are going to get a taste of this amazing homemade Southern style cabbage and cornbread. You don't want to miss this. Y'all don't go nowhere. I know, y'all. I'm speechless too. Look how delicious that looks. All those different sausages we put in there. The cabbage cooked to an absolute perfection. Our homemade cornbread. Ain't no need to keep talking, y'all. Y'all already know I'm ready to dive in. So that's what we gonna do. We gonna dive in. Look at that. Mm. That's delicious. The sausages set it off. The cabbage isn't overcooked. Cooked soft enough, but with a still slight crunch to it. Amazing. Let's taste our homemade cornbread. So good. I wish my grandma was here to taste this. She would love it. She really would. But this is a meal fit for any king, queen, child, grandma, grandpa, you name it. They'll love it. As I always tell you, EandE family, I promise you will not be disappointed. And that's it for today, EandE fam. Like, share, comment on this video. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and click the bell notification so that you can be notified when a new video is uploaded. Follow me on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. The links are in the description box below. And as always, EandE family, don't forget to live a little and love a lot. Y'all be easy. I'm telling you, make this. Your family and friends are going to... You know I'm steer y'all wrong. Bye, y'all.